Palestine means a bunch of things to me, but most importantly, I would say the big three: family, liberation, and love.
Yes. Oh, this is so cute.
What it means to be Palestinian differs for a bunch of people. I think for me, it means doing something, being active in something, fighting for something. Our identities have, since 1948, has been stemmed down towards resistance and fighting towards your own existence. My aims in life as a Palestinian is to benefit my people and take my people further. So the General Union of Palestine Students is a student org built out of our mission to liberate Palestine and do our work here in the diaspora to move towards that mission. A lot of it is raising awareness culturally, politically, but a big part of what GUPS, I think, to me is political education, really politicizing people, getting them involved in the movement, teaching them about Palestine on not just on a surface level of we should care about Palestine, but why should we care? Why did things come to be what they are now? What are the circumstances? So as you can see, there's different types of administrative detentions also compared to the occupation prisons themselves. But over here, I want to keep in mind Galboa prison up top, northern Gaza. We're going to be talking about that one. Organizing is a science and art. You have to be taught, you have to learn, you have to train, and it separates from the curriculums you're learning in classrooms, because you're actively being in these lived experiences to further yourself into the movement. The General Union of Palestine Students started in the 50s in Cairo, Egypt. And they continued their organizing through the Six-Day War, the Naksa in '67, and the Intifadas. But during the 90s in Palestine, there was the Normalization Accord. So the Oslo Accords came to be between the Palestinian Liberation Organization and occupying Israel. They started having these normalizing agreements, and the Oslo was not just one agreement, it was multiple, where they started normalizing a two-state solution, normalizing who controls what part of Palestine, who governs what, and all these things, and essentially agreeing on a two-state. And Palestine will never be a two-state. People of Palestine will never want a two-state. We are our own sovereign country. The Palestinian Liberation Organization is the organization that the General Union of Palestine Students fell under. So we were part of their coalition of students. Since then, because of normalizing, we don't need to fight for Palestine anymore. We have a two-state. We have our sovereign land now. We don't need to fight. People were asked to dissolve. But GUPS as a state found that out and kind of divested from the PLO and divested from these normalization conversations, so we can keep our legacy here. To be one of the last standing chapters in the West is such an honor in my opinion, because when I meet older people, older elders that were part of GUPS in their 70s, in their 80s, 90s, 2000s, and hearing the work they did for GUPS, but we're the last standing structural GUPS in the US, and it's an honor and it's a legacy we want to uphold. I think we're in an era now where it's this new era of McCarthyism coming here, anti-Semitism is the new communism to this Trump administration and to the US as a whole. I think at state, I think it's more of feeling unprotected. I, as a Palestinian student here for my organizing and activism, don't feel protected. I don't feel protected by administration. I don't feel protected by outside forces. And it's because people find it hard to speak about Palestine. People find it hard to proudly denounce the genocide. People find it hard to speak out against injustices until it's a mainstream comment. And my biggest fear right now is students getting kidnapped in the night for their activism, for their organizing, students getting detained, deported. And whether they're, and we've seen it with Mahmoud Khalil in Niqab Kurdiya, where it's green card holder or not, or permanent residence or not, you're still under that system of being targeted by our administration. And we've seen schools like Columbia work with their Trump administration, work with ICE, work with Department of Homeland Security to get these students. And I don't have faith in our administration here as a state to protect students on that level.
General Union of Palestine Students here at SF State. Please give it up for Ziniab!
This blatant and dangerous conflation of anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism constitutes a direct attack on the civil right to free speech. We demand the presidents of our universities must condemn the illegal abductions of students by ICE and the attack on the civil liberties of students and faculty members. We demand universities must cut ties and collaborations with ICE and protect their students from doxing, stalking, and harassment. Not only today have we sent a message to all our university administrations, but also to the Trump administration.
What we have today is a historic event, a historic show of force for the student movement. 11 campuses from across the entire Northern California region represented here today. Showing us that the student movement truly is leading our struggle here in the diaspora. They want us to stop organizing. They want us to stop mobilizing. And right now, Gaza is demanding that we continue. And are we going to stop? I said, are we going to stop?
We see as students, our voices and actions play an important role in paving a path towards resistance and justice. However, it is only through organizing in unity with all people from different sectors and backgrounds, especially working class masses.
There is only one solution!
There is only one solution!
Intifada revolution!
Intifada revolution!
There is only one solution!
The fight against fascism and U.S. imperialism has a special place and unique history on college campuses, and especially here at San Francisco State. We have a duty, a desire, and the ability to really move shit. This is our history as students. We have a duty to the people of Palestine, to the people of El Salvador, and our people right here, right now, to continue to fight, to organize and be agitated, but also very intentional about how we are achieving liberation. So today, we are here to hold our educational institutions accountable.
We came together under this banner because we need to be united more than ever in this time. We all have different circumstances on different campuses. We all face different repression. We all have different risks. We all have different bodies, everything. But at the end of the day, we're all fighting towards one goal, and that's our short-term goal of divestment and our long-term goal of liberation. And we can't be isolated to our campuses because that makes it even easier for them to come for us. This was my first day ever of college, ever.
What? That's the photos?
And they had me table on the first day at GUPS. That's my sister, Sabrine. Sabrine's my older sister. She's 3 years older than me, sometimes 4 out of the year. But I see her as like my idol in every way. I think she's so inspiring. Growing up with Sabrine and how she's like influenced how I lead GUPS and how GUPS is facilitated, I think is really important to me because she's taught me everything I know. Sabrine made herself known, and I think that also helped me along with the rest of GUPS make ourselves like an unavoidable presence on this campus.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
I think the women in my life impacted me a lot in regards to how I lead because they're all really strong and loud women. Like my grandma she passed away like 3 years ago, but she was really like funny in regards to how she would even confront like settlers, like Israeli settlers, or like confront the occupation. And she would sometimes just throw candy at them out of her like really dusty bag. And I think seeing even like, and she was also like 94, like even at that really grown age, she was able to like always just make herself present. Like you wouldn't be able to go anywhere without seeing her and like hearing her voice. And even like my mom is like, she wouldn't let anyone speak to her in any way, even if she didn't even know English. Like her face says it all. We grew up really rough in a way. Like we had really like restrictions to how we could like even act with our own personalities at home, but also like outside factors, like being 2 Muslim girls that were like hijabis at a very young age. Like we both were hijabis in like elementary school, and having that environment. I wore the hijab in 5th grade, so it was like the end of elementary school. Middle school is when like I really saw like I would have people trying to take off my hijab, and it's like even people of color that you would assume are like your peers, like my other Arab and like Muslim students, I didn't even have that support because America will always try to like separate and divide your people until you put in the work to like maintain that connection. Our parents have always been very political. Like I woke up with like Al Jazeera blasting on the news and like Baba being very anti-imperialist, anti-colonial, and Mama as well. And it's like it was drilled into us to always just be aware and know that like America's not the end all be all. We've always just had this ingrained in us, like we're not permanent. I remember telling my classmates every year in elementary school, like 5th grade, 4th grade, everything, I'd be like, oh no, I'm moving back to Palestine this summer. Like I'm moving back. Like it was always said, and it wasn't until like 8th grade where that actually happened. Baba just thought it was time, but we moved back, and it was just really, that was a really big culture shock. Like seeing Palestine for the first time in my life, seeing like the people, like these cousins and these uncles and these blood relatives I was supposed to like have known my whole life, meeting them all at once for the first time. It was like 50 of them in a room. But it was really like grounding to me as a person. I feel like those were my really formative years. I was, I think, 11 when I moved there, or 12. Moved back here like around 17 or 16. And I remember like learning, like growing up so quickly over there. Like over there you're forced to like grow up so quickly. You have not only like the occupation looming over you, but like you have these like societal and like cultural like standards. Like you have society telling you like, you as a girl, you can't be going to the corner store anymore. You're too older for that. Like you have to go with like a mahram, which is like a man that's like supposed to like lead the way for you and like keep you safe. And I'm just like, first of all, I'm my mahram. It's made me really like confident in like who I am as a person, along with my identity, because it's like I have these two factors, and like it's not like, oh, I'm just Palestinian but lived in America my whole life. It's like I've been to Palestine and I lived here, and I have like a lot of my formative years in both places, and I'm like able to like really be knowledgeable about that and like experience.
We are speaking up against genocide. Why are we being subjugated to violence? Make some noise for UC Berkeley students! Make some noise for SF State students!
We're here today because of the national call to action from the National Students for Justice in Palestine. A fellow comrade in Colombia, Mahmoud Khalil, has been prosecuted and kidnapped by DHS, Department of Homeland Security, and ICE. He was part of the Colombia encampment. He was one of the negotiators and the leaders for that. And Mahmoud is just one of the first faces of many that we might see get repressed by Trump in this new administration.
Release Mahmoud Khalil!
I think seeing someone that can just be kidnapped so easily and just taken from us, it's very scary, and especially to our people in the community that are like undocumented or like also our green card holders, even if they're citizens, it's just very scary time. But I also think this is something we knew was going to happen. Students have always been repressed, especially students that are organizing around Palestine. And I think now I'm feeling not hopeful, but I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to reignite what we had last year. If you've been at State the past year, you've seen everything we've been doing. And same with Berkeley, if you've been to Berkeley. I think it's us in the power of students to like reignite the student intifada and to reignite the power we have as students. For sure, I have a political responsibility being Palestinian. I'm not going to just live in the privileges of like being in the diaspora and like going to school and getting good grades. I want to be able to fight for my people, even if it's I'm there or if I'm here, and to also bring my people that are part of the community to also fight for it. Like, be politicized, be a part of the movement. And coming from SF State, where like a movement has already been built, we're all so very politicized. We're just not being just working class peoples, but also like we're not known for like our frats and sororities. We're known for like our student orgs, and that should say something about SF State. And like we have the first College of Ethnic Studies, and like I'm an RS minor, and I love taking ethnic studies classes, RS classes. Like I find so much joy in that, and I think it should be like my personal choice is like I have a responsibility I want to uphold. I want to fight for Palestine. I want to fight for the liberation, and I think it should be up to everyone as well.
Are we gonna be silenced? No! Students, I said, are we gonna be silenced? No!
When I'm learning about like women's history back home and like the resistance front of it, it's truly inspiring. Like these women were in their high heels, skirted up, throwing rocks at like Israeli soldiers and settlers, and they're constantly in the background of things, but they themselves are known, and they're known to people in GUPS, they're known to people all over the world, because we understand like the movement for women in Palestine and their role in it is essential. It's essential when it comes to the mothers of martyrs. It's essential when it comes to creating spaces for Palestinian youth to get together and get politicized. Like a lot of the community centers we see in Palestine are run by women. The donors are women. The coaches are women. Everything is just women. GUPS has, my whole 4 years here has been predominantly queer and femme. But I'm not expecting everyone that comes into a GUPS space to be on the same politicized level that we're all on, or to meet us like where we're at instantly. It's like you come as you are and grow as you go. And that's like a saying in organizing constantly. But I think the space of like having a queer and femme centered space in GUPS really like just creates community more so. Most of our scholars are Palestinian women. They've set the foundation for a lot of the things we learn, and a lot of our professors and scholars and doctors are women. These are the people that keep our society going, especially in Palestine. I think my hopes and dreams for the community I have here is to see it live on. Like GUPS has been here since the 70s, and even like the friendship we have like other orgs like Mela, like seeing that carried on. Like I don't want to see Palestine be avoidable on this campus. It hasn't been for like the past decade, and like we're the first of so many, like the first to have a Palestinian mural, the first to get divestment, the first to get to AS divestment, and the first, like the only ever like GUPS in the country. And I want to see that like legacy lived on, because yeah, the work we do is important, but like the legacy we uphold is also really important, and it's like one arm of our legacy here, and like one arm of like the work we do. Palestine is like the center and end all be all for me. Like I can't not go without talking about it. I can't not go without it being something that's always revolving in my life, whether in my studies, personal, organizing, anything.